Warriors, welcome back to Gods of Alliance. If you're here, it means you want power, knowledge, and control over the battlefield. This is not luck. This is strategy. Let's break the game together. Today, we have something important to talk about. A change, a big one. One of those updates that immediately makes players ask one question. Is this actually better? Because Rune Storm has officially arrived, and with it, Runic Milestone is gone. And Warriors. Whenever one of the strongest resource events in the game disappears, people notice. Some players immediately celebrated, others immediately complained. But today, we're not doing drama, we're doing analysis. We're going to compare, look at wins, look at losses, look at value, and most importantly, understand what this means for account progression moving forward. Because maybe this event isn't replacing Runic Milestone. Maybe it's trying to become something different. So let's break the game together. Before jumping into Rune Storm, we need to talk briefly about what made Runic Milestone so powerful. Because Warriors, Runic Milestone was not loved because of rewards. It was loved because of return, especially one tab, competent investment. And this was the heart of the event. You spent Rune Spheres, but the event returned Rune Spheres. Again, and again, and again. That loop created something extremely rare inside Hero Wars. Progression with partial refund. You invested, but you never felt like resources disappeared completely. That is what made Runic Milestone one of the most efficient events in the entire game. You could plan, scale, push milestones, and recover a surprising amount of value. When you combine that with energy of evolution, daily tasks, tower progression, expeditions, the event became extremely account-friendly, especially for players trying to optimize. And Warriors, that system is gone. That is probably the single biggest loss. Not because rewards disappeared, but because the circular economy disappeared. Rune Spheres no longer feed Rune Spheres the same way, and that changes player behavior. Now, let's talk about Rune Storm, because this is where things become interesting. Starting with Dominion calls. Simple. Classic structure. Login rewards. Free progress. Easy collection. Nothing revolutionary. But there is one important thing. Rune Storm immediately starts giving value without forcing investment. That matters, because not every player wants to spend. And every event should feel accessible. This section does that. Small gains, free momentum, good start. Now, Wise Exchange, and Warriors. This is the tab everyone looked at first, because this is the Emerald Investment section. And immediately, you notice something. Rune Spheres are gone. Rune Stones, red resources, progression resources, season points, higher tier rewards. This is not about refund anymore. This is about conversion. Spend emeralds, transform them. Progress. That's a different philosophy. Old event, efficiency, new event, acceleration. And there is something I actually like here. The reward curve feels more aggressive at higher spending. You feel stronger spikes. But for lower spenders, you lose that old sensation of, I'm getting resources back. That psychological difference matters. Good for heavy progression, less magical for efficient optimization. Mark of Honor. And Warriors? This section tells us exactly where developers want players to look. VIP, purchases, premium progression. This is not new, but the rewards feel cleaner. Red gear, rune resources, upgrade materials, and that changes the value proposition. This is no longer about obtaining more attempts. This is obtaining stronger outcomes. Personally, I never judge these tabs too aggressively because they exist for players already planning investment. If you weren't spending before, this section changes nothing. If you already spend, the value probably improved. Now, price of power, hero skin stones, and Warriors? This one surprised me because skin investment was sometimes difficult to justify. But now, skin progression creates direct event progression. That creates decisions. Do you save or do you push? And rewards here actually become interesting, especially when red gear starts appearing. This section feels healthier than old isolated spending, because now skin investment feels connected. That's a positive. Beyond Horizon, Expeditions, and Warriors. I actually like this one because it rewards activity, not spending. Play. Complete. Progress. Expeditions were already something many players did. Now, there is extra motivation, and I think events need more of this. Reward participation. Reward consistency. Not only investment, very good direction. Energy burst. Now this feels familiar. Energy spending. Progress. Repeat. Very classic Hero Wars event design. But again, notice the difference. Before, more rune recovery. Now, more direct resources. And Warriors. This section feels stronger for active players. If you already save energy, you're probably enjoying this. The pacing feels good. And because repeatable milestones exist, you continue progressing. I like this. Payback time. Elite missions. Campaign progression. Simple. Efficient. Easy to understand. Honestly, this section isn't exciting, but that's okay. Not every section needs fireworks. Sometimes events need stable value. This gives exactly that. And for players farming fragments, it naturally integrates into daily gameplay. Good design. And finally, March of the Victors. Warriors. This one feels different. Training. Army progression. Scaling. Long-term account value. This tab gives another layer. And that's something Rune Storm does better overall. More systems participate. Old event focused heavily around rune loops. New event spreads value across the account. That is a real improvement, even if some rewards individually feel weaker. So, what's the final verdict? Warriors. Rune Storm is not better. Rune Storm is not worse. Rune Storm is different. If your favorite thing was efficiency, Runic Milestone probably wins. If your favorite thing is broader progression, Rune Storm might become your favorite. The biggest loss, without question, is competent investment and the Rune Sphere return loop. That was incredible value. But the biggest gain is account diversity. More systems, more progression paths, more reasons to play. So my advice? Don't fight the change. Learn it, optimize it, and exploit the value where your account benefits most. Because that is always how progression wins. So Warriors, tell me below, do you prefer Rune Storm, or would you bring Runic Milestone back? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate notifications because more analysis is coming. Warriors, this is how we play the game. Not randomly, not blindly, with knowledge, with precision, with control. We don't build randomly. We build with intention. Master the mechanics. Control the fight. Let's break the game together.